Welcome back, everybody. So you remember yesterday, SK was broadcasting out of Beaufort-West, and the conversation with Gayton McKenzie left us hanging. Well, we've got the rest of it for you now this morning. Coalition governments, Eskom's rolling blackouts, and of course, forensic audits are just some of the issues that the Central Karoo District Mayor, Gayton McKenzie, touched on with his conversation with Sakina Kamwendo. McKenzie celebrated his first 100 days as Central Karoo District Mayor on Friday, and here is how that conversation unfolded.
I came to council, I said, if we want to change anything, let's eradicate the bucket toilets. There's no money. Allow me to go and raise money for the eradication of the bucket toilets. Council unanimously, which is the DA, the ANC, Good, and the PA, KDF, unanimously gave me permission, explicit permission, and said after the fundraising, an audit should be done of the money raised, and I should come back to council and come and report and come and present the audit findings to make sure the money was spent for its intended purposes.
So let me ask, was the money raised for the Patriotic Alliance, or was the money raised for the Beaufort-West local municipality?
The money was raised to eradicate bucket toilets, not for the Patriotic Alliance. In fact, the Patriotic Alliance also raised money to assist. I then said, no, we've raised enough money, all the branches and the wards of the Patriotic Alliance. I then publicly told them, guys, you can keep that money and work in your areas because we have raised enough money to fix the problem. The money was raised for the municipality. The money was put into a trust that shall be audited, and I must go back to council to go and give the findings of how much money was raised, the invoices. I can't just say this place was derelict. I must come back and report.
So the trust account that money was paid into, whose trust account was it?
It is a lawyer's trust account.
Whose lawyers?
My lawyers.
Why was it paid into your lawyer's trust account and not that of the municipality?
If it goes into the municipality, it will take 6 months before, two reasons. If we put money in the municipality, it now becomes part of the rules of the municipality, which must go out on tender to get a paint of tin. A ton of paint. It must go out on tender. It would have taken too long. I've got 100 days. I can't go to other lawyers and say, take this money. I trust the lawyer. I said, here's the money, and the audit findings will come and show if the money was used for those purposes. And secondly, nobody in this country with money will give money for any municipality. For the very same municipality that used the money. Who in their right mind would do that?
But that notwithstanding, there are rules and regulations.
Yes.
The PFMA is very clear about the sort of regulations that need to be followed when council monies are involved. And I think from what I'm hearing you say, it is very clear that you now understand the sort of complexities and how long it actually takes to get things done through government. But does that then make it okay for you to contravene the rules?
Well, I've not contravened any rule. I went to council and I said, I want you guys to give me permission to raise the money and put the money into a trust fund. And then the trust fund shall be audited by an independent firm appointed by council.
But it cannot be your trust fund. It cannot be a trust fund that you set up. It has to be one that belongs to council.
But no, when council took a resolution, let me make an example. Every day in this South Africa, you read about them raising money. You sit next to the president, you pay 10 million. You said 5 million. Never has that been an issue. The only difference here is they would raise monies. I raised money not for my party. The PA didn't benefit from it. And I'm still saying that money that was raised, we will then investigate and see and bring every invoice, bring everything. And that's why we could say to the PA members, keep the money that you've raised, which was in excess of $2-3 million. We said to them, we don't need that anymore. We've eradicated the bucket system.
Which is fine. And as you say, which is why I asked you the question to begin with, was the money raised for the Patriotic Alliance or was the money raised for the Beaufort-West local municipality? Because that technicality actually is where the lines become blurred.
The money was raised to eradicate bucket toilets. We are now going to a place called Priska, where we're going to assist, because there's still bucket toilets there. It's got nothing to do with me, because there's people now that woke up to the fact that we can assist. We will now go, and we never raised money for the water for the people in Lugamka because they drink dirty water. We then said, let's go into put in a water system for them, a water catchment area. What I'm saying is the money was not specifically only, it was to better the lives of people.
I get that. And I think many South Africans get that. And I think people will praise you for it. That being said, are you willing to admit, are you willing to fall on your sword as Gayton McKenzie to say, perhaps I wasn't as au fait with the rules governing local municipalities as perhaps I should have been in that moment?
No, I'm not prepared to do that, because there's no rule that states you cannot raise money from municipality. It's a figment of some people's imagination here. Let them give me that rule that prevented me from raising that money.
It's not about raising the money. It's about how the monies are subsequently then channeled.
I'm still saying, I stand by my answer. Let them give me the specific act that says I've done wrong.
The act says you cannot put that money, you cannot deposit that money into an account that is not of the municipality, because you have raised those funds on behalf of a municipality. So therefore, if those funds are deposited into an account, any account other than an account that stems out of this municipality, you are outside the bounds of the rules.
No, I disagree with you strongly, because the rules says you must go to council. You get to council. Everything I've done was what council took a resolution on. Everything. The rules are the guidelines. And I'm still saying I disagree with you.
The resolution was there. So let me make this slightly clearer. So the Beaufort-West municipality, right, gives you the go-ahead to raise funds on its behalf, okay?
The district municipality.
Is it the local municipality or is it the district municipality?
The district municipality. Hence, I'm not guided by what's happening in Beaufort. That's why I can take some of that money and go and fix other toilets, the money that's left in other municipalities, fix other pools in other municipalities, and come and say, we've raised $3 million or $4 million. This is all the invoices, this has been paid.
Fair enough.
That makes me guilty. Then let me be guilty then.
No, fair enough. So you go, you raise the money. Does the district municipality not have an account for you to deposit that funding into?
We went to council before we raised the money and told them what our problem was with putting the money in the council. No one will give the money for the municipalities because that money would have been stolen. Like all the monies have been stolen. So I can't take people's money. Right there, where monies has been stolen, there has been money given by province for the eradication of the bucket toilets, 22 million. There's no bucket toilets, there's no eradication of the bucket toilets, but while money has been made available.
And that's a fair point. That's something that needs to be investigated.
Yes.
What happened to the money that was allocated? That's a fair point. It's a different point, though. The point is, those lawyers, the trust fund into a trust account into which these funds were paid, what is their relationship to the district municipality?
The fact of the matter is, it's an accepted norm in business, in everywhere else. Follow my sword, you have to follow my sword, because how do I take people's monies and put it right there where the 22 million disappeared? That is just madness.
Well, it may be, but the rules are the rules. And as I say, you will figure this out.
Yes.
In terms of what needs to happen. And the issue may not be that funds were misused. The issue is about rules and regulations that need to be followed. Because in as much as you expect those who follow you, who work under you, to follow the rules and regulations, you yourself are expected to lead the way in that regard.
I think I've led the way in this regard. You know, people talk about clean audits here. I heard them talking about they got clean audits. What does clean audits mean when people don't have bucket toilets? What does clean audits mean when half the streets of Beaufort-West are really undrivable for normal motorists? What does clean audits mean? So if I had to get a bad audit outcome for the decision I took, but people have bucket toilets, I'm willing to follow that sort.
So let's move away from this issue for the time being, because I'm sure this is something that will be resolved one way or another in time. So part of the concern around here and just looking at what is happening. And I've spoken to a few other people earlier about the coalition partners, the question of ethical leadership. And I think it was to the mayor, Thersia Prince, that I asked the question, does the end justify the means at all costs? Why would you get into coalition with people who are under investigation for exactly the sort of thing that you balked at a minute ago, people who allegedly defrauded this municipality of monies that were meant to fix the roads, to make this place a better place to travel through for its residents? Why would you get into coalition with such?
All right, I think first and foremost is that we are now entering in coalition era in South Africa. This is new for all of us. Number one. So we're figuring things out as we go in the coalition. I know because we've been in and out of coalitions being unhappy. But what I'm not going to do here is that nobody interferes in the PA matters. Nobody interferes in the PA matters, and I don't interfere in the ANC and KDF matters. All that I do, I am led by the Constitution. The Constitution of this country, I'm not going to come with ANC rules of step aside. The Constitution of this country states very clearly, you are innocent until proven guilty. We have a man by us, Bruce Nimmerod. He is a MMC. He's standing before court today, being told that he was one of the instigators of the looting that happened. We appointed him full knowledge, knowing full well, because we know he's innocent. So I'm not going to what is good for the PA members, will be good for the KDF members. I don't say he's innocent, I don't say he's guilty. I'm saying what the law of the land says, not what has been invented by the ANC for their own reasons. The law of the land says you are innocent and proven guilty, and he has not been proven guilty, and he's from another party. So I'm not going to stand here and say, no, he should step aside. I heard that word for the first time, step aside, now a few months ago. The ANC never even knew that word existed.
And this is not even about the ANC, and it speaks to, for me, the issue of ethical leadership, which has been, quite sadly missing a lot of time in South African politics, and part of the reason why we find ourselves as a country where we do find ourselves. On Friday, when you were up on the stage, there was a bit of a skirmish coming from the side. Someone had said something about one of the leaders, your coalition partners on the stage. You stood up on that stage and you castigated the section of the crowd where that came from. So I want to talk about that, because obviously, even within your own ranks, there seems to be dissatisfaction about some of these things.
Well, you know what, for me, I just feel that even if you disagree with somebody, but when you speak, you got to listen. Whether it was the very same person speaking or it was somebody else speaking, I don't like heckling people. And I would not allow the party I lead for somebody to heckle anybody, no matter how much they disagree with that person. But let's take your point a bit further. We have a history in this country. I sit on opposition. Let's take, for instance, the mayor of Matikama. I sat across that man. That man was in the special branch. We sat with people here that has committed huge atrocities against black and colored and Indian people in this country. But we don't go around, because we've moved, we don't go around and say, oh no, because once you take out the history of one, you got to take the history of the other one out. I'm saying to you that I just follow the Constitution. And the Constitution says you are guilty, you are innocent until proven guilty. I have been accused of many things. Every time there's accusation and I have had people who've been arrested. I know people have won cases. So I'm just merely saying to you that if that man has been found guilty, we will not, he must go to jail. But for as long as he's not, he is protected by the Constitution. How will I answer him if he says to me, why do you guys want me out?